fatemi vedere che sapete contare da 10 a 0 indietro. Tutti quanti, ok? Iniziamo? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ancora 3.
And we have just started our third and final round of the night in Art Battle Genoa, Italy. We are looking at Christina Poe right now, who is starting off very differently from how she approached her first round qualifying piece. We have a smaller drawing that is going down. Previously, we saw Christina going big in the first few moments with big swaths of color. So looking forward to seeing how Christina employs her style for the final round. Often artists will branch out from the style that they used in their qualifying round, or they're going to be using something similar. And so I'm looking forward to seeing where Christina goes with that. Here we are with Giuseppe, and Giuseppe looks like he's taking a very similar approach to the first starting moments of his qualifying round. We're getting this laying out of a spiral of this super inky black paint, and that's being applied very rapidly with a palette knife. And I love the way that Giuseppe is going about this. It's so expressive and painterly right off the bat, and definitely I think brings him some performance points as well. Moving over to Fulvio, and Fulvio is creating this black shape right now, starting to, I think, create shapes that will inform the rest of the painting. I would be surprised if we didn't see another portrait from Fulvio, given how super successful his previous one was. Always love in Art Battle when we're in the first few minutes and you're really kept guessing by the initial brush marks and how they're being laid down on the canvas. And again, Fulvio using this black paint in a similar way to an ink application by watering it down quite a bit as well. And here we are with Valentina, who was our artist that created that just absolutely stunning duo portrait of lions. And we're going down with a similar tone to how she started her previous painting. That kind of pinky, rosy tone. And initially I had thought that it was going to be a landscape, but really it's anyone's guess when it comes to Valentina's pieces or Valerie's pieces and the way that she starts them. Although I am getting a little bit of a sense of a portrait here. Just from the initial composition. Maybe Valerie is working on a hand right now. Starting to kind of get that sense of that shape. A hand is definitely a tough choice to do in Art Battle because hands are so specific and are so subject to proportion. There's not a whole lot of room to play with that. But I'm sure that Valerie is up to the challenge for sure. Back with Christina here, and now we're getting that kind of bombastic color that we're used to seeing from her, this really wonderful saturated application. And she's using this dry brushing technique that is allowing some of the canvas to come through. So we're getting a high level of vibrancy from these colors because we have just a little bit of that canvas shining through and helping us with the luminosity of the tone. And we can see that Christina is painting very close up to these figures that she's created. And we have a theme, a continued stylistic theme from Christina with the repeating elements as well, which I think is something that is very interesting and calls back to her first round piece and is a recognizable element of her style. And we can also see the way that she's applying these colors, that we're moving through the temperature tones as well. We have that red and yellow and kind of rust color on one side, and looks like she's starting to move into cooler tones, blues and yellows on the other. Back with Giuseppe here. And I absolutely love the way that he's laid this out. Not only is he using the spiral that he initially laid out for the background of the figure as a background movement component, but he's also used it to kind of guide these proportional elements. You can see that different levels of this spiral are cutting into the figure at different places. You have where the head is, where the chest is, where the hips are lying, and I don't think I've ever seen that before as a way to determine proportion using a spiral, and I think that it's really interesting, and I think it creates a lot of wonderful movement in this piece, and using it as that proportional tool also kind of creates a harmony between the character and the background. And now we can see Giuseppe is already moving into these highlighting components. And something that I enjoy about his style is that he's doing a lot of mixing on the canvas. And so we're getting this kind of muddiness coming from the white being applied over the black while it's still wet. But it's very intentional, and it's definitely adding depth. It's an intentional muddiness that I think that is expressing the energy of the piece and is also creating all of these shading elements at the same time. So very unique way of painting from Giuseppe. Moving over to Fulvio, and we're getting quite the reveal at this point. We were wondering what that dark shape on the side of the canvas was, and it was him establishing the shape of this skull. And it's so stylized, and there's so much going on with the way that the light is playing off of the skull here. We have a lot of luminosity coming from the inside and playing around in the eye sockets and the hole for the nose. There's such a bright vibrancy there, and it's really arresting. So not only do we have this stylized skull that is reading very graphically, I think, from a distance, but we also have these really interesting contrast and saturation components as well, with the super concentrated use of this red. And then, of course, we have the elements that he's left in the background of that intentionally dripping inky black, really bringing some movement to this piece. And here we are with Valerie, and Valerie is doing such a fantastic job with this piece already. Definitely recognizing this image, very Botticelli-esque. I think that's where she's borrowing this character from, and it's visually arresting right now, and we're really getting this kind of art historical context, and I'm just really enjoying seeing how this is coming together. And we've got an arm coming across this figure, and the arm is appearing to be coming from a little bit more of a distance. So we're also getting some interesting perspective pieces here as well. But definitely want to congratulate Valerie on, particularly on the execution of the hair. We can see that she's kind of loaded up her brush with different colors on it, and past that created these brush marks that allow the color to blend at the same time as she's moving it, and it's just creating this really wonderful color depth within the portrait already. Back with Christina here, and I think that this black and white component that is happening in the illustrations in the center are now starting to be colored in. So we're really getting into the building of a painting. And Christina, I think, is an artist who is really using a lot of strategy in terms of the building of the painting. What I mean by that is taking it step by step and really managing her time and creating these different elements at different points in our timed setting. And she's just doing such a fantastic job of managing that time. This piece, I think, is coming together exactly as she means it to, when she means it to. So definitely the sign of a really serious competitor here. And that nice additional element of the kind of surprise fourth figure or the second figure in the third grouping under the umbrella. Back over with Giuseppe, and we're definitely more into a surrealist space with this piece, and definitely kind of getting a sense of allegory here as well. Looks like this figure is juggling all of these different elements of life. We have a skull, a clock, what I think might be an envelope, and also a dice. So we have communication, time, death, chance. A lot is really being expressed here in this piece in such a short amount of time. Really very interested to see how this piece continues to evolve. There's so much narrative energy in here already, and I think that we can all relate to the juggling of all of these elements. So this piece is going to be very universally relatable to the crowd, and I think that that's going to provide an advantage for Giuseppe, because not only is he drawing people in with the subject matter, but the execution here is also very interesting and is very energetic. Back with Fulvio, and Fulvio has done such a wonderful job of really establishing this piece quite early on that now he has the luxury of going into the detail work. And so we're starting to see these kind of cracks and crags in the skull and where the bones are knitting together, and it's really giving us a lot of opportunity for creating this very stylized skull. And we can see that he's starting to add in all of those highlight pieces, which is really bringing the skull forward into the painting and really helping it kind of jump off of the canvas. So we have that high saturation point with the red drawing us in, and then the white is just really making it pop as well. And now we have this little bit of addition of orange just outside the eye socket of the skull, starting to kind of harmonize with the background. And continuing success from Valerie with this play on Botticelli's Venus. The execution here is just stunning. We're really getting the energy of the piece. And I think that there are enough elements within this piece that it is very original in that it's definitely a Valerie painting, but there are also enough elements that are calling to the piece that she's referencing. And the way that she's executed the hair here, the kind of, oh my gosh, I just got it. I just got the fun play on what she's doing here. So we can see the clam shell happening underneath her, and the way that this figure is posed, it's doing a selfie. So it's Botticelli's Venus doing a selfie. That is so cool, bringing it into this really contemporary realm. I think that this piece is very successful technically, and also now has this kind of contemporary feel that it is calling to our current times, and is also bringing in that little bit of wit and humor. And I think that that is really going to draw people in. I know that that is a piece that I'm feeling very connected to right now. Back with Christina now, and Christina is doing such a great job of balancing all of these color temperatures. We have so many different elements going on in terms of just the way that she's applying these colors, but we're getting so much great balance here. No color is overwhelmed by the other. We're getting a really beautiful sense of them playing together and creating this immersive environment that is representational, and that we have figures walking in this space, but is also an environment that is something that we feel that we could walk into as well. And back with Giuseppe here, and Giuseppe has decided to add in all of the color that we were seeing on his palette previous, and is doing so in our last 5 minutes of the round, which I think is a really bold move, and again is speaking to his ability as a performative painter and continuing to draw the crowd into his experience. I'm sure that if we were checking out the crowd right now, there would be a lot of people gathered behind his easel. And the use of all of these colors is really underlying this kind of chaotic narrative that he has going on. And now we can see that he's starting to get into those final finishing touches, those little pops of highlight, and has now waited for most of his paint to be dry to add in these pops of highlight. So that is a really great technical move. He was working into the paint when it was wet to create those shading elements, and then waited a little bit for it to get dry enough to add in an opaque highlight on top. So very smart there. Back with Fulvio, and Fulvio has managed his time so well with this piece that he just has so much opportunity to really get into the details. And something that I think that's really special about this piece, and that is going to be a successful component of it for the competition, is that there are so many detailed elements to this piece that we can appreciate on camera up close, and that people will appreciate in the room as they're able to get up close to it as the voting starts. But also that as these people are moving around the venue at a larger distance, I think that this piece also is able to read very well from a distance as well. And I think that people are going to feel connected to it in that way, because we have that recognition of the skull, and it's so striking and saturated and full of contrast, and really communicates well from a distance, but also holds up just as well at that close range. We're into our final 2 minutes here. And we can see actually all of the artists are looking quite relaxed. Nobody seems to be rushing into their last elements that they're applying. Everyone just seems to be really just dialed in and know exactly what they're doing. This piece by Valerie is so wonderful. The perspective here that she was able to achieve of getting that kind of selfie angle on a classical character is just so imaginative. And we can see Christina going back in with her smallest brush and just adding in those final small details. And really keeping these figures that are in the center of the canvas the focal point by adding in the highest level of contrast there and using the darkest colors. Giuseppe really harmonizing this piece with all of these different colors.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pennelli in aria! Woo!
So we are counting our votes right now, and if you have yet to vote, make sure that you go to artbattle.com/AB2431 to cast your vote. Only one artist will emerge the winner of tonight's event in Art Battle Genoa, Italy. Very, very important that you cast your vote. And also, if you're interested in purchasing any of these pieces, they are available for silent auction at that same link as well. Our winner announcement will be coming very shortly, so stay tuned.
Ok, se possiamo abbassare un pochettino la musica leggermente. Just a little bit. Allora, innanzitutto voglio ringraziare tutti quanto le persone che sono state con noi oggi, lo staff, da Susanna a suo figlio Valeria, Nicolò, la Giulia, Masha, Sami, Mattias. Se dimentico qualcuno è perché sono un po' stanca, non perché non mi ha aiutato. Vi ringrazio veramente a tutti quanti. Allora, mi sono arrivati, è arrivato il verdetto. È arrivato il verdetto. Vince questa Art Battle numero 2431 una persona che sono sicura che non se lo aspetta, perché conosco l'elemento, Cristina Po! E adesso potete ballare.
A huge congratulations to Christina Poe, who was just announced the winner of tonight's art battle in Genoa, Italy. A very well-deserved, well-earned win. She created two pieces that were very true to her style and expressed so much joy and colorfulness, and just, I think, really captured the hearts of the crowd. So huge congratulations to Christina Poe, who will be moving forward to the Italy finals. And also a big shout out to all 12 of our artists who painted tonight. It takes a lot of creativity and courage to step up to the easel and share their painting the way that they did. And we are so happy to have you. If you are an artist and you're watching the stream with us today, we're always searching for new artists. So go to our website and send us an application. We would love to see the work that you do and maybe have you paint at an art battle easel near you. And of course, also big congratulations and shout out to our team on the ground in Genoa. Really well run event and just fantastic overall energy and vibe. So congratulations to Chris, who is the lead of our team down there. And thank you, of course, to everyone who joined us watching on the stream tonight. We would love to hear your feedback. And if you're interested in checking out any of the artists that painted tonight, go to the Art Battle Genoa Italy Instagram, and we have shared all of their profiles there. Thank you so much, everyone, and good night.